Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Dave, and today we're going to be doing something a bit different. We're doing a summer special now for the coming few weeks. We're looking first of all at the Lazy Spa Paris, which has internal RGB lighting, which look amazing, especially at night. We're going to be also looking at a Bluetooth speaker that's battery powered, so we can use that outside, and some garden lighting in a coming video as well. Before we look at the Lazy Spa, we need to do some prep work, and I definitely recommend getting the underlay because it's going to help prevent it from ripping, tearing, anything sharp that might have been left. Whether it's on a patio, which is obviously brick or concrete, could easily rip it, or if you're putting it on the grass, you might have a rose clipping or something that you just haven't spotted, and a thorn will easily go through it. So don't take the chance, invest in the extras as well. You've also got the pillow and canopy and cleaning kit to make it a bit comfortable, a bit nicer, well worth the extras. But first we need to do some prep work. I've already measured the patio, and you've just got about the 2 metre minimum that it needs to sit in because it inflates to about 2 metres. And so I'm going to sweep the patio, I'm going to put some weed colour down just do a bit of prep work first, and then we'll get into unboxing and setting up the jacuzzi. Catch you in a bit. Okay, we've just swept and sprayed the patio, swept it really good, make sure there's no dust, debris, stones or anything on there first. And now we're going to open up the undershoot matting and put that down first. The spa itself does come with a thin sheet, but that is quite thin and it will probably work, but I'd rather put the little extra in and make sure you've got it very well protected. Okay, let's start having a look at that. It does come with a bit of a strong smell. It's all nice and shaped, as you can see, so it will actually create a circle for the round spa. And hopefully this will show you how much space it needs as well. Okay, we've just put the base down, swept the floor, and on putting the base down I did get a bit of dirt on it as well, so I just gave it a quick sweep. And we'll start looking into this once I've shown you how to lay it out. Okay, we've just finished laying out the rubber matting. You can see that it's comprised of several large foam sheets. A small square one to go in the centre, and then proper triangle corners for each corner, and then the side faces is the larger square with a curved surface to it, which ends up being the little bit oversized for the bottom of the spa, so that would be very well protective. Moved it just a little bit away from the wall so it doesn't touch that, hopefully. We can now look at unboxing and setting up the spa. You may be able to hear in the background we've got our fountain going, which is the one that we were talking about in one of our earlier videos with the smart plug. So if we load up the Google Assistant, turn off the fountain.
Alright, turning off the fountain.
Turn on the fountain.
Okay, turning on the fountain.
So we can see that works on the mobile as well. You can use the wait command, OK Google, but it's harder to hold the phone and try and show that all at the same time, but trust me, that does work as well. So we'll get on to unboxing the Lazy Spa. I love the way they immediately warn you, do not use a knife to open this packet and do not stand on it. Standing on it, I understand, but why would you? So the warning's a bit stupid. The knife, how else are you meant to get into this? You're meant to use one of these box cutter devices, which nobody has. But I've got a pair of little shears which I can just hold together shut, and that will just get through it. And be careful not to go too deep because you don't want to actually burst it, which I'm sure the packaging would be designed to stop a knife going straight to it. At least you'd hope so. First thing on top is a set of instructions. We have the inner chamber, these are heavy. You may need to get someone to give you a hand to lift these out of the boxes. The outer wall. Some hose attachments. Filters. Some more nozzle attachments. I'm going to try and keep these clean because I don't want to get dirt straight in them before I set that up. So I'll pop that straight back into the big box. The main unit. That comes with a very thick cord. The underlay has a small square section to pop this on, so I've just located it there. That is a very hefty cable, so was planning to put this through the smart plug so we can turn this on and off remotely, but it looks like it might have quite a large draw because I guess it is a water heater as well, so we might not be able to use the smart plug for powering the fountain and this. We'll just have to have a look at the instructions to see what power this draws. So you may actually need to make sure you've got a proper ring main that you're drawing from rather than a spur, so I'll have a look at that. That's the bubble underlay to protect it, which, yeah, I think we did the right thing by getting the extra thick one. And I assume this is the main chamber. I'll turn this upside down. Yeah, that's obviously the main tub, which is again quite heavy. I assume that this must be the roof then, because I think it's got an inflatable lid, so I assume that's going to be the lid, but it's got a bit of weight to it. I'll read the instructions and find out what amperage it is before I plug any of this in, just to make sure I'm doing it safely, and get back to you in a second. Okay, on reading the instructions and seeing the size of that wire, it does say that you need to have a plug that will be able to maintain the sort of current draw and amperage that it's going to be using. On the plug it is saying it's going to be using 16 amps, which is significantly more than what a 13 amp plug would normally be doing. So I've checked, it can be plugged into my ring main, we've got enough load capacity on it, that's fine, and the extension that I've got out here is directly part of the ring main, and the cables used is going to be able to take that sort of current, but the smart plug won't. I wouldn't like to even attempt that. It's probably fine that when it's up to temperature and you don't have the heater on, but I'm not even going to risk it. I've just plugged it straight into the wall rather than having the smart extension plug on it. So we've saved ourselves a little bit of a problem there, and now I'll get on to setting it up as well. We have this other little box which I forgot to delve in, which is all the fun bits. That's the RGB lighting kit, which is a separate plug, which I was unaware of. That's another interesting issue. Great. We now have a choice: the fountain or the lights. I thought that was going to run off everything. Okay. And I may need to get another line installed down the outside. We'll come across that problem later. So, bit learning. It is an unboxing after all. I had no idea what to expect. I'd have thought these lights would have run off the main unit, but obviously it's an extra set they just put in with some of them. That is interesting. Okay, we'll have to see how to put all this together. Inflate it upside down. Great, and then tie it to the bottom. Okay, we've got a little bit of work to do. I'll just pause this. I'll do some more of the unpacking, and I'll do this in stages because I have a feeling I'm probably going to knock the camera over. So I'm going to have to just pause it, move things around, and carry on. And so we'll see it that way. The first thing is to put the bubble underlay down. So I'll do that quickly. I would say be careful how you open it up, because obviously during the winter when you want to pack it away, you want to try and put it back in as best as possible. So trying to keep the packets they all came out of would probably be helpful. Now, is it bubble side down or bubble side up? It doesn't tell you. I think it's bubble side up because they look thinner. Okay. And now that'll be the main part. It's heavy in its bag like this. One can only guess what it's going to be when it's full of air and trying to move around by itself. This is going to probably be ideally a job for 2 people. I also wouldn't recommend kneeling on the bubbles either, you might just pop them. Alright, with a bit of faffing, managed to spread it out. That wasn't too bad, but I think it would be easier if you do have someone on hand to help you. Now I've got to get it so we can use the pump in here to inflate it. You don't want to use an air compressor or any other type of pump to do it. You want to use its own internal mechanism to pump it for you. There was another set of connectors. I may need those in a second. From the little packet I'm getting the white screw cap out, which that looks like that's going to be the insert for the blower. Can unscrew that, and that can then go in there. Okay, now I've got to plug this in and put it on below. It is nice to see that they've also put an RCD unit in there as well, so it should be relatively safe if something does go wrong. If there's a short in the cable, if water gets in the electrics, it'll cut out incredibly quickly. I assume it's just regulations they've had to do it. If not, well done for doing it, keeping you safe. My plug's already got an RCD on it, and anyway, switchboard's got it, so you've got multiple levels of protection, which are a bit OTT, but if you're just running straight from the main circuit breaker, having that in line, well done to them. The cable's a little bit thick to go in my outdoor water box. I'm going to carefully plug that in because you can snag the cables when you clip them shut. So that's should be okay, hopefully. We'll have a look. But they do tell us that what I need to do is say bubbles for 5 minutes. Okay, we plugged it in, reset the RCD, because when it comes, either it comes already tripped or maybe just about taking out the package, but you just had to hit the reset switch and that turns it live. Push and hold the button, power button for 3-4 seconds. Bubble. And leave this running for about 5 minutes. There's a lot of air coming out of the pump motor. It's going to do that. I assume it's just so you don't overinflate this. It's a way of just creating the pressure correct. Okay, it hasn't quite been the 5 minutes it said. It's beeping. It feels like it's confirmed, so I assume it's worked out that it's finished. Now I've got to flip over and put the LED lights in. Okay, now I've got to turn it upside down, so now I've got to put the lighting strip in. Right, we need to find roughly where the start point is, which is here, so when you flip it back over, we'll start from there and thread it through. This is going to be difficult because we mustn't twist it, but we've got to turn it upside down. So, go figure on that one. So, unroll it, and you start off by, that actually gets quite twisted under there. So they obviously do twist it themselves. It goes under the little hooks, or tying pillows, and just feed it gently all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Being careful not to twist it because it wants to, because it started off as a roll. Obviously, when you put it in, make sure the LEDs are facing down, so when you turn it up, they're then facing up. And the idea is to have this roughly where the connection for all of this is. Okay, on trying to actually put this through, I can see actually why they say don't twist it and pull it in the instructions. Because it's wound up so tight when it comes, it wants to try and maintain that shape. And when you try and put it in a straight, flat, but circular shape, it doesn't like it. It really tries to twist itself, so you do actually have to be a bit careful putting it in, funny enough. So just put it through one, pull it through fully, put it through another one, and slowly work your way around, making sure it's flat and try and keep the twists out of it, because it does want to twist up. You'll probably see it happen whilst I do it here. Good to see. Yeah, make sure it's nice and flat. Start putting it through, and immediately it's starting to try and change its direction. So you've got to see it's trying to twist. You've got to try and keep it smooth, and then lay it flat at that section, and then start the next one. And you see it starting to try and turn itself over straight away. So, and then see it's got a little twist in it. And back to the beginning. And it's trying to twist itself up again. And tuck the last bit under there, and then go around from the beginning, making sure it's all flat. So I'll quickly do that. And now to flip it back over again, so I'll be right back because I don't want to knock the camera, so I've got to do this carefully. Okay, before I start filling this water and testing the pump, I'm going to test the lights, because obviously once this is full, I'm not taking this back up again. I've plugged it into the mains. And so now you get our little remote. I've got to get a screwdriver and open the back, so I'll be with you in a moment. It does come with 2 batteries. Does it actually? No, there's not one already in it, so I'll just go and get a screwdriver and put a battery in. I've got one of my electrician's screwdrivers. You don't need to go for one as good as this, but I find this set is excellent. It's very good for fine work, and it's exactly the right size to fit all plugs and wiring for the UK and probably the rest of Europe, because it's made by a German company. Right, so it just unscrews, put that carefully to one side. Actually looks like it might be both batteries are needed in there. That's the positive side, and that's the negative side. And you just pop that in with positive facing up. And yes, we do need both of them from the way this is designed. It's a bit odd. You've got one battery that slides, just slides in there at a bit of an angle going further down, and then you've got to use the other one on top of that. Never seen that before. It's only a little remote. I can't imagine it needs too much power. And the other one goes on top, so obviously it's taking a 6-volt charge. Obviously, again, in the instructions say don't drop this in the spa, it's not waterproof. Obviously you shouldn't be dropping it in there, but they do put a pocket for it on the side just here. So the likelihood is you probably are going to be dropping in it at some point. I don't advise it, but hopefully it will be waterproof, but they say it isn't. Yeah, that doesn't feel like it seals particularly well. Yep, I can see the lights on. Can't see anything during the day in there. I can just see the lights are coming on down there, and they're changing, so we'll see tonight. So the next thing to do is, before we detach the hose, is we've got to blow up the lid. Okay, and then the next part is to take the outer cover out of its packet and lay it down.
and then insert the inflatable part into this and then inflate it whilst it's in situ. As what you can see, it's got a skirt liner that it goes into, and the idea is to actually use this as a air trap to stop heat from escaping, just to keep the efficiency that little bit up. Now I've just used the side clips to lock the top in sight whilst I'm doing this. They don't say that in the instructions, but I can't see that's a bad idea. And again, be very careful when opening these, you don't want to puncture the material. I just thought I'd give you a quick look at what I'm doing here. I've taken this and put it already inside under there, and I'm going to attach the hose to here and just inflate that for 2 minutes. The lid, and then we can attach these parts which are covered by these little foam things held on just by a rubber band, which is obviously to prevent dirt and dust getting in there. You can't connect this at the same time because this hose gets in the way of the pump. So that's an interesting thing, because if this goes down for whatever reason, pumping up might be an interesting challenge, but we'll see on that later. Next we need to take these foams off, and they're just held on by a rubber band. Obviously don't get any grit or anything on them because they're meant to be kept clean. Okay, now it's just inflated, so now I've got to take the lid off and put it away somewhere clean and tidy so we can then start working on the inside, putting the filters in. Okay, I've got the lid out of the way. So now detach the hose for the inflator. Now we've got to line these two up with this. No, I do not want to start anything. Let's turn you off. Get the mat right up against it, and then don't pull it by the hose, I'm pulling it by the top part just to get it close. Okay, that's done up. That's done up. Zip that shut. I have a feeling that is meant to connect to there as well. Yes, and that way it can then blow air into the whole system. That's now all connected, so we've got the water in and out, or in at the bottom, out at the top, and the air circulation as well, so that goes where the air hose was attached to inflate it. We've got our little pocket to put the remote in so that stays safe. Now we've got to fill it with, add the filters first, and then we will fill it with water. So I'll go and grab those filters now. We've got a screw on here, which we've got to undo by fingers. Lift that up. It comes with a filter and a spare filter already, although a little bit of muck just in there from a new one, but that's probably just packaging, and in transit bugs get everywhere, don't they? So that's good, and that's already got one in, so we've got, comes with 2 filters. I thought it just came with the one. That one goes where? Big one at the bottom. Right. We've got these ones. We take this one off, it's just rubber, it doesn't really matter how you remove it. And then we line it up and screw it on. Again, with all threads, do them up slowly and gently, and be very careful not to cross the thread. Okay, so that's one. So, as you see from the instructions, it doesn't really tell you to do anything with the second one, which doesn't make sense because it says take both off. But yeah, we have another bit. Now, is that a chlorine block? Oh, that's the chlorinator. So that just sits in there and floats around with some chlorine. So we take this one off. for the inlet. Take these out, and now I need to fill it up to the max line. So whilst I'm filling up the water, I'm going to turn the camera off because I don't want to get you guys wet. Take care. See you in a bit. Okay. Again, back to this one. If that locking thing is just, yeah, as to screw it in there, but also if you really give it a good hard turn, don't be afraid of breaking it. It feels like you are, but you're not. Open it up, and that's where you put your chlorine cleaning tablets in. So it is stiff, it feels like it's going to break, but give it that extra push and then you get in there. I can't work out what this is for. It's part of the inflation process. Maybe it's for a different model because the packets are kind of all universal for the different versions they do. So I'm going to have another look at that, but I'm going to start filling up with the water now because I want to get in. So see you in a bit. It's been about half an hour filling up the hot tub, or the spa, whatever you want to call it, and it's only got a little way up, but that's actually a good thing because I was able to put the lid on and look under the lid with the lights on, and then I can see where the lights might have been twisted, but it still wasn't full enough for me to not be able to lift the pool and turn them up the right way around. So now all the lights are facing up the right way around, so you do actually have to be very careful about putting them down, and I think they just move on their own because of how tight they're wrapped when they're in. With some of the black plastics, I was right about one of those sets. It was a spare set for one of the thinner hot tubs, so it wasn't needed for this one, or use it for when you want to hand inflate it with a foot pump sort of thing. So yeah, I was right, it wasn't used, but it is in the instructions. It was just in the next bit and I just skimmed over it because I knew it wasn't for hour one, so that's why. But come with me and have a look inside whilst it's filling up and you can see the lights. Yeah, these clips are quite good. They're not going to accidentally come undone. You've got to squeeze in and push in and then lift. And with one hand, that is difficult. There you go. So this is how I was able to see how full where the lights is lifted. And you can see it hasn't even got up to the first filter, so very, very low. I'll see if I can turn the hose up a bit to get it filling quicker. But when that's done, that's going to be very nice. We've got some extra accessories, so whilst that's filling up the water, we're going to show you some more unboxing. This is the canopy for sun shield, but we actually quite get a bit of breeze coming down the alleyway here, so it's probably more going to be blocking out some of the wind for us. But if we do get it in the morning and the sun's too much, we can move it around. So we'll have a look at this. There is a bigger version of this, which is a tent for the whole thing to go into, which is massive. If you've got the size of garden for that, well done you. And there's some instructions in there, but I'm not going to bother. And saying that, I'll get lost straight away, I'm sure. Right. 2 sets of poles. I may just have to move onto the grass to actually do all of this, but we'll see what I can fit in this little corner. Two short, one long. Okay, I'll just move onto the grass to get a bit more room and we'll start putting the poles in. Put the short ones to one side first of all and work out where the large one goes. And the ends, which have a little rounded shape, should fit into these pockets, I assume. I'll just bring it around to show you. Now these tiny little pockets at the bottom just go in, wiggle its way down inside there like that. Whatever you do, do not step on the poles. They do not have much strength in that direction. They will snap straight away. Again, you've got your little pocket just down there. Wiggle it in. Again, then it's going to be the same for the short poles as well. Pop it in the corner and pull it in. So that's the cover. Got some ties in the corners, give it some extra support. The ties just here, just tie it across both of them. And then you can use these to clip it onto where the cover clips. And that's that one. So next we'll have a look at the headrests and cup holders. We'll have a look at the headrests because they should be a bit of added comfort and luxury for it. Nothing too much in the box. You just get a pair of them, but they are quite a nice soft rubberized plastic foam, so they should be a bit more comfort when you're just relaxing in the spa. Cup holders, so if you want a bit of a drink whilst you're relaxing and trying to unwind. A little bit of assembly for these ones. Turn a box. Slide them in, and that will then obviously go over the side of the jacuzzi. Place your cup in. Yeah, you can probably, well, certainly a beer glass. We'll try a champagne flute in tonight perhaps. So that's the two set up there. These don't come with the jacuzzi, neither does the canapé. These are all optional extras that we opted for, and the cleaning kit as well. With the New Yorker it does come with its own cleaning kit, but we found it was relatively cheap to get the cleaning kit separately, and we wanted to go for more of a colour matching set because the New Yorker, although it looks like it's exactly the same specification, was just blue. And that then didn't fit with the canapé or the cup holders and the headrests, and we just wanted it all matching and looking like it's meant to be together, so that's why I opted for the Paris. It's actually quite a coarse sponge, but you know, that's to get rid of any mould or lime scale. If you're in a hard water area, just give it a bit of a scrub. Obviously it's designed for them, so it's not going to be too abrasive, but yeah, that should last well, and the shape should get into the corners. Then got a net. Actually feels quite good in the hand. It feels sturdy enough just to scoop out leaves and any debris that may have got in there. And a brush as well. So yeah, that wasn't a particularly expensive set. Works well. I'll try and get links to everything in the description below. Some of these might only be available in the UK from our stores, but we'll try and find some Amazon links for you guys. Right, now just got to wait for it to fill up, and then you'll get to see us
enjoying the hot tub and letting you know how it goes. See you tonight. Okay, just a quick update. It's been about 4.5 hours of filling from the hose to get it up to the maximum line, so give yourself plenty of time to fill it. And the temperature's been, as soon as it got to over the top filter, I put the heating unit on to start heating the water, which was coming in around about 19 degrees from the hose tap, and it's now hit 21 degrees, and that's been an extra hour and a half on top of that, so it will take a nice long time for it to heat up and get ready to use, so don't expect to just jump in it straight away. But it is very quiet, the pump in it, because it's running at the moment, and hopefully tonight we can show you. Here we just have a quick look at the controls at night so you can see it lighting up properly. We've got our lock button, and you can see the little light go off, so you can now access all the controllers. That's the timer, bubbles. You can change Fahrenheit to centigrade. Your heat mode, so now it's just circulating water rather than heating it as well. And your temperature up and down, so you can see we've got it set to 38, but you can set it higher, maximum being 40, which is 104 Fahrenheit. So that's the maximum your recommended safe temperature anyway, and the 38 or 100 is the recommended minimum temperature. So we've got it set to minimum, and that's absolutely perfect. And then when you're finished, and that turns it off. It does have an automatic cut-off after 74 hours, I believe it is. So even if you did forget and you just left it on for a few days, it will just cut off. Welcome back, and it's now night time. You can see you've got it all set up. Lights on, the awning's up. It's looking beautiful. It feels lovely and warm. The bubbles are really strong and powerful. It did take about a full day, 2 days to heat up, and it does go down in temperature 1 degree an hour overnight when you leave it off. And obviously having the bubbles on, the heating element isn't strong enough to keep the temperature right up there, so it will lose a few degrees when you have the bubbles going. But other than that, it's absolutely wonderful. It really does work. But the timer in the machine will actually stop the bubbles after about 15 minutes, I believe, and so it's still then heating it up, so it will come back up to temperature in a little while, and it doesn't get noticeably cold, so it's great. During the night, if you don't have the heating on, it will lose about 1 degree an hour, so you do need to take that in mind that when you want to use it next, you'll need to set the timer, which has got a timer function on there, so just put when you want it to come on and how long you want it to stay on, and then when you get in, it should be up to temperature straight away for you. Just a little bit of pre-planning for that, and it works really well. Don't expect to buy it, set it up and get straight in. You do have some prep time to do. You've had to use some chemicals in it because it did start going a little bit green, but just the chlorine in the tap water wasn't enough to keep it more than 2 days. The filters do need changing and cleaning. Again, that's just regular maintenance, but it works really well. It's very relaxing and well worth doing. I'll just quickly show you the remote for the lights. It's not infrared, it's working by RF, so it works, you can turn it on and off from inside the house as long as you're still close enough. So you've got your on-off switch, you've got static colour, which you can then change. You've got cycle. I'll put it on a static colour. That's the speed of which it will flash. You've got 3 settings there, and if I put it to static, you've then got different intensities, so you can have it dull, medium and bright, and that's a very simple controller. There is a little pocket on the side that you can slide it in at the back, which keeps it drying out the way. When you're filling it up, you've got your minimum and maximum lines on the side.
I don't know what they're there for, because when I first filled it up, I filled it up to the maximum, which you'd expect, and then one person got in and it went a bit higher, fair enough. 2 people got in, got pretty much to the very top. 4 people got in and it went everywhere. So the minimum maximum lines are not the minimum maximum lines you fill it to. What you really want, which they haven't got, is a 2, 4 and 6 line. So if you're going to be using 2 people, you'd fill it to the 2 line. If you're having 4 people, you'd fill it to the slightly lower line for 4, and if you're expecting 6 people, you'd fill it to the even lower line for 6. And then the min max could be for how high it should be when the tub is full of people and water. Just a slight design defect on that one, unless it mentions it how you're meant to use it in the instructions, but I have pretty much have a feeling it probably said fill it to the minimum or maximum, which for 6 people would be ridiculous. You'd lose so much more water. So bear that in mind when filling it up. Don't bother filling it up to maximum. By all means fill it up to minimum, but don't go over the minimum line. That really should be seen as the maximum for it. I'll give you a quick tour of the garden and then call it a night. Take care, people. I thought I'd give you guys a quick tour of our garden. Here we have some of the solar lights. All of our lights in the garden are actually solar powered, but these ones are the play bulbs. There's 2 different versions of them, and as you can see that they just cycle through some colours. There's different effects you can do. They're controlled by the smartphones. I'll give you a show of that later. Here we come to the other version of the play bulb, which is more like a flying saucer type shape. They're very nice. These generally last all night long, which are brilliant. They just give a lovely effect, and they're controlled by the smartphone, so we can change the patterns of them. This is the pattern that we were talking about in our earlier video about setting up the Smart Things hub. That was controlled by the smart socket, but obviously we've taken that off now because it's also connected to the hot tub and don't want to overload it, because that probably will blow a fuse. Again, a solar powered umbrella with these controls. So just simple 2 buttons. The first one will turn the inside track off, the second one turns the outside track off, and you can control how much light you have on there. I'll hopefully have a set of all of these online for you, and you'll be able to buy them from the description below. Also be doing videos later on about how to set all the play bulbs up and how to get them to work. There is a limit to how many play bulbs you can control in a group, because you can group them together, and the limit is 5, so you can only have 5 play bulbs per group. So we've got 5 on the back wall here, and then we've got 5 on the slope at the back. So you've got 2 different groups controlling them, so they can all be in sync if you want, although quite often the syncing doesn't work. Thank you very much for watching the video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do definitely recommend the Lazy Spa Paris. There's a very similar one, which is the New Yorker. The only difference I can see is the outer case, which is dark blue, and the same for the case for the lid. If you prefer the blue colour, then go for that, but you do bear in mind that all the accessories match perfectly with the Paris. Again, there are other Lazy Spa variations out there, and of course other makes, but this one I think is by far the best. There's ones that are sort of have wood effect prints on them that are thinner. I can't see the point in that. It's more expensive and it's a thinner wall, so it probably doesn't keep the heat in as well and wouldn't be as sturdy to lean against, I wouldn't have thought. Haven't had one, so I can't really say for sure, but that's just my opinion. I think this is just the one to go for. There's going to be a link for it in the description below. I can't tell you what the price is. Amazon change their prices all the time. Again, I'll keep a link in the description for all the accessories. So do hope you enjoy the video. If you did, give it a good thumbs up and a like. click subscribe and the bell notification icon to get notified when I make the next video. And hope to see you again later on in the summer, and have a good summer holiday. Bye bye. Wish you guys could come and join us in here. It's perfect. It really is a little bit of summer holiday at home.